Are you really free? I mean, think about it. It's a huge question, right? Especially now, in our digital world. To get to the bottom of it, we're going to go way back to an ancient story that is, believe it or not, shockingly relevant to the very screen you're looking at this second.
So this story comes from the philosopher Plato. He imagined these people, right, chained up in a cave their entire lives, forced to stare at a blank wall. Behind them, there's a fire, and things pass in front of it, casting shadows on the wall. And for these prisoners, well, those shadows aren't just shadows. They're everything. It's the only reality they've ever known.
Okay, now look at your screen. Seriously, how different is that, really? What we see every single day is a version of the world, a version that's been filtered, curated, and projected right at us. And that, right there, is why this ancient story is more urgent today than it has ever been.
All right, let's dive into our first section, our digital cave. You know, we live in this world that's been designed to be completely seamless. Everything is smooth, it's personalized, it's so easy. But here's a thought. What if all that seamlessness is just a more comfortable, a more inviting version of Plato's cave?
And this is where we see the big disconnect. On one side, you've got how we perceive it. We think this is my feed, my choices, my world. But the algorithmic reality, well, that's a whole different story. Our feed is actually filtered data. Our choices are really just our own biases being reinforced and fed back to us. And our world, it can easily become this super comfortable, predictable track that we just never leave.
So you might be asking, how is this cave even built? Well, it's constructed with every single click, every swipe, every like, the social media we scroll through, the stuff we search for, the products we buy. It's all data. And that data is used to build a world just for you. The whole point of these systems is to keep us on this smooth, easy track, constantly telling us, yep, your view of the world is the right one.
And look, you could argue, so what? I mean, if these tools are just helping us get what we want and connect with people who think like us, what's the big deal? If life is simpler, why should we complain? It's a fair question, right? Well, the answer really lies in what we might be missing out on, just outside the entrance to that cave.
Okay, so to really get what's at stake here, we have to go behind the scenes. We've got to pull back the curtain. Who or what is actually projecting these shadows on our wall? It's time to meet the architects of our reality.
The architect, my friends, is the algorithm. Now I know that word can sound super intimidating and mysterious, but it's really not. Seriously, an algorithm is just a recipe. It's a set of step-by-step instructions. It takes ingredients, that's your input, and it turns them into a finished dish, the output. A recipe for a cake? That's an algorithm. The way you sort books on your shelf, that's an algorithm too.
But okay, building an algorithm for something really complex, that's not quite as simple as baking a cake. It involves these two really critical translation steps. First, you have to take a complex human idea and turn it into concrete, logical steps. Then, you have to translate those steps into a language a computer can actually understand, into code. And here is the absolute key. At every single one of those stages, a human being is making a judgment call.
This is so important. Human judgment gets literally written into the code. Let me give you a real-world example. Imagine an algorithm that's supposed to find ghost properties. You know, those unfinished or empty housing developments. How do you define that? What makes a property a ghost? Is it less than 50% occupied? Less than 75%? Some programmer somewhere has to make that decision. And that one choice, that one piece of human judgment is going to fundamentally change the results.
And this just perfectly captures what happens next. These coded judgments, they become so deeply embedded in the tools we use every day that they become invisible. They become, as this quote says, indistinguishable from life itself. We don't see the recipe anymore, we're just eating the meal, no questions asked.
So this all leads to a really critical question. If our world is being shaped by these invisible, human-made rules, what are the consequences? What is the real price we're paying for all this incredible speed and convenience? There's this fantastic metaphor from neuroscientist Lamberto Maffei. He says the sheer speed of information today is like being on a speeding train. We're moving so fast that we can't even read the names of the stations as we blow past them. We get information instantly, for sure, but we lose the time and maybe even the ability to really analyze it, to question it, to see the landscape clearly.
And the scale of this speeding train, it's just mind-boggling. Get this. On YouTube alone, every single day, people watch the equivalent of over 114,000 years of video. Let that sink in. That's not a stream of information. That is a global flood.
So, what gets lost in this flood? Well, let's compare two kinds of journeys. On one hand, you have the algorithmic path. It's safe, it's comfortable, it's efficient. It just reinforces what you already know, so you never ever get lost. But then you have a journey like Ulysses from the ancient myths. It was risky, uncertain, filled with wrong turns. But he made new discoveries because he got lost. Getting lost is how we learn. And our algorithmic world, well, it rarely lets us get lost anymore.
Okay, I know this can all sound pretty bleak, like we're just helpless passengers on this runaway train. But we're not. The future isn't written in stone, because we are the ones who build the tools that shape it.
If you take one thing away from this, let it be this. Technology is not some unstoppable force of nature. It's not. It's the result of human choices, choices about what to build and why we're building it. The most dangerous idea out there is that we have no choice at all. And history proves there are different ways to do this. Just look at the difference between the Manhattan Project, which built the atomic bomb, and the discovery of CRISPR gene editing. One was secretive, top-down, its ethics debated behind closed doors. The other was driven by pure curiosity, collaboration, and a very open public discussion. We get to choose which model we want to follow for our future.
So, what does a better path forward actually look like? Well, it starts with some new principles. Imagine this: responsible innovation, where we actually think about the values and consequences before we build something. How about meaningful human control, where we make damn sure that our complex systems are aligned with our values? And maybe, just maybe, a new enlightenment. A call for a new kind of humanism, where ethics and reason guide our powerful new tools, not just profit. And just like that, we're back where we started, standing at the mouth of the cave. We've seen how the shadows get made, we've met the architects, and now we know there's a path forward, a path toward the light.
Here's the bottom line. Just becoming aware that you're in the cave, that's the first step to leaving it. Simply understanding that the shadows on the wall are not the whole picture, that our digital world is constructed, that is the beginning of real freedom. Awareness is the key that can break the chains.
Now, look, the journey out of the cave is not easy. The real world can be messy. The light can be blinding at first, but the great challenge of our time is deciding if we're going to use our incredible technology to illuminate the world, or just to build ourselves a more comfortable cave. So the final question isn't for me, it's for you. Are you ready to take that step outside?
If a question made you stop and think, take one more second. Philosophy doesn't give easy answers, it teaches you how to ask better questions. Like the video if you enjoy thinking. Follow Philosophy LM and keep searching together.